I was growing carrots as a market farmer. And the idea being that I would harvest my carrots and sell them at market and get rich and famous and all that kind of stuff, which never happened. But man has to have these fantasies. Anyway, so I was growing carrots for market, and it was really hard to weed them because they would come up, they would take weeks to come up. And by the time they germinated, the weeds were already 3 inches tall. You couldn't really weed the weeds out because then you'd kill your little baby carrots before they even germinated. And so carrots were just a nightmare for me to grow. I'm like, oh, duh, I'll apply principles of Landrace gardening to my carrots. I grew a crop of carrots with no weeding at all. And at the end of the season, there were these little teeny tiny carrots. And I took those carrots and replanted them for seed. Same thing the next year. 2 years later, after I harvested the seeds, grew the carrots out without weeding them. And they did better that second year. So then I had a crop of carrots that had been selected to outcompete the weeds for 2 generations in a row. So then the third year that I grew my carrots, I actually weeded them one time because I don't want to go overboard, you know. What my carrots ended up doing is they ended up being these big, huge plants with leaves that are just outrageously large and strong. So they can hold their own with the weeds now, which is a beautiful thing. And they also germinate quicker. In the process, I selected for carrots that are cone-shaped, that are little short, fat things, because then it's easier to dig in my fall soil, which is really clay-like and hard by fall. When I started breeding with carrots, I just bought carrots from seed companies. There's a company called Pine Tree Garden Seeds, and they sell mixed packets of seeds. There might be 5 varieties of carrots in their seed packet. So I planted those, and I planted carrots that I got at the grocery store. I planted carrot seeds that I got at some seed swaps. I even got some carrot seed out of one of the, I don't know what they're called, the National Seed Storage Vaults. I didn't do that myself, but somebody got them and sent seed to me. And so I put a lot of effort into getting a lot of different carrot varieties. And one thing that did for me is the carrots, a lot of them that I planted were hybrids. And hybrid carrots are made with a process that's called cytoplasmic male sterility. Basically, the organelle DNA doesn't sync up good with the nuclear DNA, and so it messes up the carrot and it becomes sterile and can't produce pollen. The anthers are just shriveled up or non-existent. About 70% of my crop ended up being carrots like that. So I just eliminated that trait over the next couple of years so that I'd have carrot flowers that were fully fertile. So my recommendation is just to avoid carrot hybrids. If we're breeding with carrots, select open pollinated carrots to start with, and then that problem won't be an issue. And I did the same sort of strategy with carrots that I do with all of my crops, and that is I taste every root before I plant it. And I do that either by cutting off the bottom of the root or the side of the carrot, just so I can taste it before I replant it. And I ended up selecting against purple. The purple carrots seem to have some kind of diesel taste to me, but I really liked the flavor of some of the yellow carrots and some of the red carrots. My carrots retained a lot of those sort of reds and yellows. So in the first year, anything that survived got to progress to the next year for seed saving. And the second year, the same thing. If it produced a root, it was suitable for seed saving. And then the third year and the third generation and beyond, I started being more careful about flavor and the shape of the root, the size of the plant.